So if you do miss anything, jump on our website, scientisting.ca. It'll have all the information on each episode. And what I will do as well is send everybody a recipe. And our recipes will always be posted as well on our Instagram page. So if you want to look through there, you'll find them on there as well. As I said, this is a 3-week series we're focusing on salads. Awesome to do over the summer. As I said, things are more local. Everything's in season, but also midsummer, it's really nice not to have to turn on the oven. It's a lot better to be able just to prepare fresh foods without warming up the house, because it does get super warm midsummer. And it's this recipe especially is very versatile. You can throw in whatever you want. We will have a recipe to go off of, but with a salad like this, as long as you stick to your salad dressing, your grain, and your veggies, you're good to go. So if there's certain herbs and spices in the salad that you don't prefer, I know a lot of people either love or hate cilantro. So if you don't like cilantro, you can always replace that with a different herb. Some people like dill. Some people like fresh parsley as well, so it's really up to you. If you can grow a lot of these vegetables, in your garden, or if you have a deck or a balcony and you can grow some herbs, you can do that inside and outside. They're pretty easy to grow. So just go to your local grocery store, or even Walmart. Will have seeds, but they also have like seedlings as well that are already started, and you can plant those. Okay, so we are talking about a high protein quinoa salad. Quinoa is a pretty awesome grain. This is it right here. It's actually pretty high in protein. The problem is it's not a complete protein, so you have to combine it with another grain or another vegetable that has a missing amino acid. So with quinoa, we can combine it with things like broccoli, edamame, green beans, regular black beans, just to make a complete protein source. So keep that in mind. You do want to, if you're not adding any like chicken or beef to it, that you're going to want to add another source of amino acids, which, like I said, broccoli is good, edamame, green beans, soy as well, soybeans. But you do want to combine it to complete that protein source. But you do want to make sure that you pre-cook your quinoa. It'll make it a lot easier to follow through with the recipe. Just make a big batch of quinoa, and you can store it in your fridge. It's good for up to a week. I cook mine. I have an Instant Pot, so I just throw it in that. But if you are cooking your quinoa, you want to make sure, whatever method you use, that you rinse it first. It comes dry in a package. I don't have the package on right now, but it comes dry, just like almost like rice. And then you cook it with water. It depends on the method, how much water you cook it with. But before you cook it, take like 5 minutes to rinse it with cold water. There's a layer naturally that's on the grain that makes it very soapy and very bitter. And you can actually rinse it off just with cold water. So it actually will make it taste better, but also it'll last longer in the fridge. So make sure you do that first. Like I said, make a big batch and you have it for the full week. And then after that, you want to make sure you make your dressing as early as possible. It just helps. It helps the flavors marinate. So if you can do it the night before, awesome. If not, that's fine too. But the longer it sits, the better it tastes. So what we'll do is we'll get into our dressing. Quick tip: if you have like a recycled bottle, you can actually add the ingredients to it and then just shake it up. Otherwise, you can use a bowl, and as you're adding the ingredients, you can stir it with a whisk or a spoon. Okay. So what we're gonna need is you can use any oil, light tasting oil, so like olive oil. I wouldn't suggest coconut oil because it has a very strong coconut taste, but avocado oil is good. And then vegetable oil. Vegetable oil isn't as healthy as an avocado oil or an olive oil. Keep that in mind. But if that's the only thing you have, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add my olive oil. I'm going to go with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Again, I'm just putting that in my bowl. So 2 teaspoons of olive oil. And then you want to, I'm going to bring this down so you guys can see. And then you want to add your vinegar as well, okay? So just like any salad dressing, the base is usually oil and vinegar. So I'm going to use apple cider vinegar. You can use whatever vinegar you have on hand. Apple cider vinegar is pretty good. It's got a slight apple taste. Can't really taste the apple. Regular white vinegar is good as well. Red wine vinegar is fine. White wine vinegar is fine. And rice vinegar is fine to use too. You just need that acid to mix with the olive oil. So you get 2 teaspoons of that as well. Tablespoons, sorry. Okay, from there you want to add a teaspoon of Dijon. So I already scooped that out. You can use any yellow mustard's fine. Doesn't have to be Dijon. The mustard actually helps it thicken and emulsify. So I'm going to put my teaspoon in there. And then you want to add crushed garlic. You can mince that. So a little trick, if you have the skin on your garlic, and that's 1 to 2 cloves. If you like a lot of garlic, you can put 2 cloves. But what you do to get that skin off is you just put it on your cutting board, put your knife down flat, and you just hit it with your hand, and it kind of peels it really easy for you, so you don't get all garlic in your fingernails. So you just peel it off real quick. Before we start to cut, just make sure that your knife is sharp. The sharper the knife, the safer it is, because you won't slip. You're actually cutting through things, and you always want to be mindful of where you're holding your whatever you're chopping. Okay, so proper way to cut is to hold the knife like this with your thumb, or so your index finger here and your thumb on the other side, and chop down. I learned bad habits when I was younger, so I actually chop this way. Whatever way is safest for you, you can do. Okay, so I'm just going to slice my garlic. And I'm just watching my fingers, and then once it's sliced into thin layers, I'm going to turn it around and then start to dice it. Again, just be mindful of where your fingers are, and you probably want to get pretty small with that dicing, otherwise you're going to have big clumps of garlic in your salad dressing, which you probably won't like. Okay, so from there I'm just going to clean my knife off, make a couple more cuts, chops, and then I throw my garlic in there as well with my mustard, olive oil, and apple cider vinegar. Move that there. From there, you're going to need to squeeze out about 1 lime, okay? And a little trick to make sure you get as much juice out of your lime as possible. You put it down on your cutting board, put your palm down, and you're gonna go back and forth, okay? And this just releases the lime from the peel. So you go back and forth, and you can actually feel it get softer and softer. And it's about a tablespoon of lime. So I like lime, so I'm just gonna kind of do it by eye. So you slice it in half and then squeeze it. Start from the back, so the back of the lime, and then push the lime juice forward, okay? There we go. I'm gonna do the second one, same thing. Start from the back, squeeze it, push it to the front, and then if you want to get all the lime juice out, just fold it in half and do another squeeze, okay? From there, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt, so I'm just going to do that by eye. And then a tablespoon of maple syrup or honey. Doesn't matter, whatever one you have on hand, you can use. I'm going to do a tablespoon. And if you're trying to cut calories or trying to cut your sugars, what you can do is use a sweetener for that. Stevia works well. Whatever sweetener you're comfortable with. So that's perfect there. You could add some jalapeno to this, or you can add it to your salad at the end. We will be using that today. If you put it in the dressing, you don't need to put it in the salad, okay? So I'm actually going to cut mine for my salad. I'm not going to put it in salad dressing. From there, you just stir it up. If you have a whisk, you can do that. You can do it with a fork as well. If you have a jar, even better, because then you can store it. You don't have to put it in after whisking it. But you need to whisk for about a minute, and you will see it will start to thicken up. And if it's too thin, what you can do is add a bit more mustard. If it's coming out too thick, you can add a bit more lime juice or a bit more vinegar, okay? And when it's done stirring and thickening up, what you can do is taste it. It might need a bit more salt, or it might need more lime juice, or more garlic. It's really up to you. It's a matter of preference. But do taste it before you store it, because this is kind of all this is what's going to flavor your salad. Okay. So I'm just going to get this out of the way here. That's done. If you are making it the night before, definitely put it in the fridge and let it sit. Like I said, it just marinates all the flavors together. Once we have that done and our quinoa is done, we're going to start cutting our vegetables. Okay, so I'm just going to move my peeled, anything that I peeled on my cutting board. You always want to make sure that you have a clean cutting board. There's nothing in the way. It just makes sure it's nice and safe. A quick tip: if your cutting board's sliding around, what you can do is put some damp paper towel on your counter, and that'll prevent it from slipping. Okay, so you put the paper towel down. You can spray it with water. You can do it with a cloth as well. Put it on top, and it'll actually like lock it down so it's not slipping. That's going to make it a lot easier to chop and a lot more efficient. Okay. So from there, really this part is really up to you. It really is going to depend on what vegetables you like. Okay. The recipe though is 1 tomato, half a cucumber, purple onion. You can use a purple onion, or you can use a green onion. It's really up to you. And bell pepper. It doesn't matter what color you have on hand. I prefer the red bell pepper, but it's really up to you. Matter of preference. You don't have to go with that one if you prefer a yellow. They're all pretty much the same nutrients in all of them, but whatever. It's just a matter of preference. So what you're gonna do is chop up all your vegetables, whatever ones you plan to use. So I'll start with my yellow pepper. So a way of making it really easy to cut is you cut the top off, just hold it to the side, and then you cut the bottom off, okay? Perfect. So from there, what you're gonna do is turn it back up. You're just gonna make a cut down the side, and then you're gonna open it up, okay? And then lay it down. What you can do is take your knife and bring it across. So I'm just cutting off the ribs. Okay, you can see there, I'm just cutting off the ribs. They're bitter, so you don't really need them. And you're gonna go all the way across, okay? You get the ribs, and then you can dispose of the seeds. And then for this recipe, you're gonna dice these. Some recipes you can julienne, but we're gonna dice this one. So what we can do is now cut it in half. Easier to work with now. I'm gonna do a couple strips here, okay? After you do all your strips, just put them in a kind of a pile here. You can stack them or put them side by side. Just makes it easier to cut them. Dice, and just watch your fingers, you go along, put it to the side, and then do the same thing with that other half there. So I'm just cutting into strips. Okay, and really matter of preference, you can make them thinner, so they're smaller dices, or you can make them thicker. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually put all my veggies in my bowl that I'm making the salad out of. I just have to find the bowl that I was using. All right, here. So we're going to put our quinoa on the bottom, the quinoa that we pre-made. Then we're going to use our cutting board and our knife to slide those peppers in. So everything just conveniently goes in the same bowl. gonna cut our tomato now. With our tomatoes, what I like to do is the same thing, kind of. I do the top and then the bottom, and it creates a nice area to cut with, so it doesn't move around. It's not rolling around. And then I just go down, 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 down. So I'm cutting it into strips again. From there, I'm just gonna move it to the side, strips again, because I'm gonna make these into chunks. And I like mine pretty thick. So I'm just gonna maybe cut it in 3 different spots on each little slice. And then same thing, I'm just gonna stack them and then roughly chop them. Again, I prefer mine in bigger chunks. So if you wanna take your time and dice them up a bit more, that's cool too. I'm gonna put that in my bowl as well. Just right in. That's 1 tomato, 1 bell pepper. I'm gonna throw my cucumber in. So you can peel this, or you can just cut it as is and leave the skin on. Again, it's a matter of preference. What I'm gonna do is flip it and then cut it in half. And then I'm gonna start to chop it. So you'll see there's gonna be 2 halves there. And just make sure you're watching for your fingers. Again, you can go into quarters if you want. Some people like quarters, some people like halves. I'll do half and half, half quarters, half half. You're gonna put those cucumbers right in. And then you're gonna do your onion. It's already halved. This is actually a really good handle to hold on to with your onion. So just hold on to it, and you can cut as you go, okay? So what I'm gonna do is go from the side here. This is the claw technique. And I go down. Again. When I get close to the base, I'm just gonna cut it in half so it's easier to handle. Okay, so you just hold it down. Again. So this one's actually already peeled, so you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about peeling it, but obviously make sure that you get all the paper layers off of your onion. From here, again, I'm just gonna roughly dice. I like my onion in small dices. I'm just gonna stack them all together. Just for the purpose of time, I'm gonna move these and just do this up here. Again, stack it together. Where you can just use your knife to bring them into a pile and keep chopping. Just like that. And clean your knife off. And then depending on whether you like the onion at that point and that size, you can put it in. We have our onion, our cucumber. I'm just going to clean up the surface here. Onion, cucumber, and tomato, and our bell pepper. What we can do now is just mix this all together. Okay, so you really want to mix your quinoa in. Make sure you're mixing all the veggies in together. And then from here, depending on how you want to set up your salad, if you want it with a bit more protein, you can add your meat, or you can add your alternative. So if you're vegetarian, what you can do is add some, oh my goodness, edamame. Add some edamame to it. You want to obviously pre-cook that. You do have to either steam it or boil it. So just make sure, you do that ahead of time. So you can add some edamame. You could add some soybeans. Chickpeas are really good too. It would work really well with this recipe. So chickpeas. And you can actually add a bit more greens to this if you want. So if you want more protein, add more protein. If you want to have more volume and less calories, what you can do is add a green. So I know this technically isn't green, this is Napa cabbage. But you can add spinach, kale, cabbage, Napa cabbage, anything you'd like, whatever you prefer. It gives a nice crunch, gives a nice texture, but also it fills you up a bit more too, okay? The last thing I would add to this would be your jalapeno. Today I have green chilies, so I'm going to use those. I cut these last because what happens is if you get the seeds on your knife or on your cutting board, it's going to cross-contaminate your other food. So everything all of a sudden is going to be super spicy. So what you want to do is cook or cut this last, okay? Cut it up last and add it to your salad. I'm just going to cut mine. The seeds and the membrane are what makes jalapenos and chilies and any pepper spicy. So if you want the taste of a jalapeno or a green chili, but you don't want the heat, just keep that in mind. You can de-seed it. A lot of people will wear gloves when they do that if it's a really spicy jalapeno or a chili. So just keep that in mind. You do want to wash your hands before you do anything else. Don't wipe your eyes. Wash your hands right after cutting them, because it does get it everywhere. So you want to make sure you don't transfer that and get it in your eyes. Okay. So that's the last thing I cut up. I'm going to put it in my bowl here. Again, if you need to add more protein in your diet, you can add chicken breast, shrimp, anything that will boost your protein. Also, like I said, it doesn't have to necessarily be meat. It could be edamame, it could be brown beans, black beans, or soybeans. Chickpeas are really good as well. So the cool thing about this salad is that you can eat it hot or cold. It's really up to you. It's a matter of preference. You can pack it. It's really easy on the go. You can grab it if you're going to a picnic. You can grab it and have it, and just put it in a Tupperware container. And a little goes a long way. Like, you don't, because of everything that's added to it, all of a sudden, every time you add another vegetable, it gets bigger and bigger. So make sure that you have enough people to feed, because it does feel like every time you add a new ingredient, it gets bigger and bigger. The last thing I would do after that, again, for the same reasons, a lot of people either hate or love cilantro. Again, you could do more of a Mediterranean vibe and do a different spice if you want, or a different herb than cilantro. But if you are doing the cilantro, it's about half a cup, okay? Half a cup of cilantro, and you can either put that on top or you can put it in the salad dressing. It's really a matter of preference. And then before you put this in the fridge, just give it a taste. You might want to add some salt, some pepper. Keep that in mind. But definitely add the fresh herbs. Again, I know a lot of people don't like cilantro, so just keep that in mind if you're taking this to a picnic. Maybe put the herbs on the side. Okay. Just want to see if I had anything else to add to this recipe. If you have any questions, you can ask them now if you feel comfortable having your video on, or just shouting a question, or you can put them in the chat. We have Michelle. Michelle Roy is with us. She's going to do a draw for everyone who's participating. She's going to do a draw, and she's going to let you know the gift that's up.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I hope everybody is enjoying the session.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten lunch, so
I guess we know what you're doing after this.
I have a great salad in front of me to devour.
That's awesome. So I'm just here. We're doing rewards this semester, giving away $10 gift cards, and we're randomly dropping in on our registered programs and fitness classes. So I'm just going to choose someone from the screen, and it's going to be Nicole today.
Awesome.
So Nicole, if you could just let me know what your last name and Nicole, woohoo, thank you, awesome. Nicole, did you register through our website for this session? Because if you did, I'm totally able to find your contact information from there. Great. Would you like your gift card from Indigo or Sport Check?
Decisions.
Indigo. Okay. So Nicole, thank you very much, and congratulations, and everybody else, thank you for attending and listening to me while I did this, and we hope to see you in our other registered programs.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks. Bye, Chris. Bye, everyone.
Have a good one. Awesome. Congrats, Nicole. Thanks everybody for joining me. Next week we're going, I believe there's another session right next week, but you'll get an email as well. I'll check the group and make sure that I sent this recipe to everybody. But if for whatever reason it doesn't make its way to your inbox, make sure you check on our Instagram page. The recipe will be on there, okay? But I hope you guys get to try the salad out. I hope you get to finally take it to a picnic and enjoy some time with friends and family. I know we're super close to getting back to normal, and yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you do try the recipe. Take care.